Let me get this straight. A 5'10" kid decided to go head first into a 6-foot mat, then realized after he was stuck that he was gonna die down there. And then he died down there, stuck. Somehow silently, with a gym full of kids playing basketball and changing classes around him. Then his shoes magically appeared on the top of his body, inside the mat, shoved into the hole. His legs became twisted in the mat. And all of this happened in the middle of a school day in a gym full of kids. Then somehow the videotape from only those moments is missing. Then Kendrick's organs go missing. 7 judges recuse themselves. The U.S. attorney working on the case resigns. And then your case moves to Ohio. Then it's officially closed by the Justice Department, who tells you in a meeting the crime scene has planted objects. Your autopsy report is correct. Your child was murdered, and there's nothing else we can do about it. One thing we kept hearing over and over again was about this missing FBI report regarding the security tape hard drive and the blacked out footage. So we looked into finding that report to see if we could locate it, and we did. However, the report was heavily redacted. But then we were able to find the unredacted FBI report, and what we discovered blew us away. You see, in the redacted report, you can barely see any of the video frames. Most of the frames are blacked out, and the ones with KJ are barely recognizable. In the unredacted report, we were able to see all the video frames in full color. The report follows KJ, Brian, and Brandon's movement throughout the school for the entire day and records where they were. Not only is this further video evidence that the Bell Boys were on campus when KJ went missing, we found something that the FBI clearly didn't want us to see. Let us put them side by side so you can see what we found. Here they are. Can you see something a little odd? Look closely. There appears to be a frame on both pages that matches. How could this be? What tipped us off is KJ's yellow folder. We were going through Brian's movements and all of a sudden, KJ's folder appeared on screen. That's right. There's a frame on KJ's side and Brian's side that is identical. The boys are standing seemingly right next to each other in the hallway. Let me get this.
Like Kendrick was trying to reach over into the mat to get his shoes and he fell over. He feels like Kendrick then got stuck and that's how he suffered from asphyxiation from the mat being so tight around him. But if the mat was so tight around him, how did he get all the way in the first place? It's not really.
Oh God, this right here is the shit that gets under my fucking skin, bro. You cuffed this man because he had intercourse with a thought you cuffed. Like it.
Something sinister is going on. This is Everett Palmer Jr., an Army veteran who traveled to Pennsylvania last year to resolve an outstanding DUI warrant, died in police custody. His body was returned to his family with his throat, heart and brain missing. This is Ryan Singleton. In the summer of 2013, Singleton disappeared and was found dead in California's Mojave Desert. His body was missing eyes, lungs, heart, liver, and kidneys. This is Kendrick Johnson, a 17-year-old who was found dead inside a rolled-up vertical gym mat. His internal organs were removed and replaced by newspaper, but his death was ruled accidental. His brain...
Today is Everett Palmer Jr.'s 44th birthday. He should be celebrating with his family, but due to a traffic warrant he's jailed, drugged, beaten, stripped, choked, brain, heart, and throat removed from him. Today is Everett Palmer Jr.'s 44th birthday. He should be celebrating with his family. Today is Everett Palmer Jr.'s 44th birthday. He should be
Today would have been his 44th birthday. Say his name. Everett Palmer Jr. He had turned himself in over an old DUI warrant, but ended up dying in York custody. Palmer was held in isolation in prison, and an autopsy report states that Palmer had multiple abrasions, contusions on his head and limbs, and 2 puncture defects on his right forearm. The autopsy further notes that the York County Correctional officers used physical force on Palmer and 2 taser deployments and a restrainment chair. They beat, choked, and tased him to death and refused to give him life-saving aid. Palmer's body...
Something sinister is going on. This is Everett Palmer Jr. Something sinister is going on.
This happened 2 years ago, but I'm sharing this story because it's finally getting the attention that...
Today is Everett Palmer.
I was reading about this case yesterday, and it really reminds me a lot about Elijah. This is going to be a 2-part series, so you guys can read it. This was what the first updated one, I believe, was about last season.
The thing that really keeps me up at night is the story of Kendrick Johnson. Have you guys ever heard of him?
No, who's that?
He was a high school student in Valdosta, Georgia. He just went missing. His family was really concerned. The cops were acting like, oh, he'll turn up, whatever. He went missing during gym class. They found his body rolled up in wrestling mats. The state police did a whole investigation, whatever. They just ruled it an accidental death by asphyxiation, which means he suffocated. The family wasn't buying this story. They thought that it was foul play and that somebody did something to him. So they got a private autopsy done. They found out that his organs in his body were removed and his body was stuffed with newspaper. And yeah, it's crazy to me because, okay, you could say, yeah, he fell down in the mat and he suffocated. Where did his organs go?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that part of the puzzle
end up in his body.